Hello, my name is Chris, and today I want to share with you 5 helpful habits that I believe are worthwhile cultivating after we quit smoking, or possibly even while we're quitting smoking and moving towards becoming a non-smoker. These are 5 things that I personally have found so invaluable to my life. Things that have really helped me to make the most of being a non-smoker, to really enjoy being a non-smoker, and perhaps most importantly of all, to remain a non-smoker. Cultivating the kind of mindset and sense of well-being and gratitude for my life that means I have no desire to throw it away for something as trivial and pointless and powerless as a cigarette. It's creating the kind of life that means if something stressful or upsetting does occur, then there is very, very little risk of me responding to it with a cigarette. Making this video because I've been talking to people in our Finding Freedom Facebook group, facebook.com/group/findingfreedom1. I've been talking to people in our group, and it's become very apparent to me that, we've been doing this for a long time now. It's been a good couple of years since my first video. And there are people that, we've been together from the very beginning. People who are now, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years smoke free, for whom, the challenge is no longer about how do I quit smoking. The challenge is how do I enjoy staying smoke free? How do I enjoy being a non-smoker? And there are more and more people like that in our community. So I've decided that this year going forward, while I'm still going to make lots and lots of videos about the actual quit smoking process for those who are at the start of their journey, I'm also going to make much more content about life after quitting smoking. I've quit smoking, what's next? How do I adapt and respond to being a non-smoker? That felt like a very long introduction, so I will get on with it. Here are 5 helpful habits that I believe are worthwhile cultivating after we quit smoking. The first helpful habit to develop is the act of mindful decision making. As I'm going about my day, I tend to call this being deliberate or acting with intention rather than instinct. But I think mindful decision making probably makes more sense. And what I'm talking about, no matter what you want to call it, is simply taking a moment to pause, reflect and ask, is what I'm about to do really what I want to do? To take a moment to stop and think, is the action I'm about to take, is the decision I'm about to make really going to serve me? Is it really what serves me right now at this very moment in my life? You'll notice that I said the word think and not overthink. I'm not saying that we should take endless hours to laboriously pore over every pro and every con of every action that we ever make, because that is going to drive us insane, and let's be honest, we'll probably never get anything done. I'm just saying, let's stop and think for a moment. Does this serve me? Is this really what I want to do? To be reminded that every decision we make and every action we take has a consequence attached to it. And what it all comes down to is, if I take this decision, I'm aware of the consequences, am I happy to accept those consequences into my life? If I'm really thirsty and it's my natural instinct to go and grab a great big sugary drink, just to stop and think, do I really want to be doing this, knowing that the consequences of drinking lots of sugary drinks are that my teeth will rot, my mood will be crap, I'll gain weight? Or do I want to drink some water, the consequences of which are much, much less severe? If I'm in a really bad mood and I'm about to snap at someone because, you know, they've just done that one little thing that just nudges you over the edge, just to stop just for a moment and go, do I really want to snap at this person, knowing that the consequences are that we're probably going to have a fight or something terrible is going to happen? Or do I just want to maybe go outside and take a deep breath? It's just that act, that process of every now and again just stopping and going, do I really want to be doing this? And sometimes the answer might be yes. Yes, I do want to do what I'm about to be doing, even if it's not the most healthy or helpful decision I could possibly make. We're not saints. I'm not saying that we have to be perfect the whole time. So I graduated from my hypnotherapy course at the weekend. In fact, let me show you something. I got a diploma. How cool is that? So I graduated from my course, and, you know, it's a really good thing. We wanted to celebrate, you know, but we're all hungry at the same time. You know, my belly's rumbling. Am I going to go, yeah, I've just done this amazing, life-changing thing that I've worked really hard for. Let's go and eat some broccoli. No, I'm going to say, let's order a pizza and celebrate, even though I know the consequences of eating a pizza are, you know, far worse for me than eating the broccoli. But I can live my life in a kind of moderation these days and weigh up that thing of, yeah, okay, you know, but this is a one-off situation where I'm going to have this pizza. If I'm ordering pizza every night of the week and I'm stopping and asking myself, do I really want to be doing this? Then at some point I'm going to say, no, maybe I should go and have the broccoli after all. And the point that I'm getting to, because I promise you I always try and get to a point, is that it's not so much about the actual decisions we make. It's getting in the habit of just thinking about those decisions and thinking about those actions so that it becomes second nature to us. And when it becomes second nature to us, if there is ever a time 6 months, 12 months, 2 years down the line after we've quit smoking and something bad happens and that old primitive caveman brain kicks in and goes, you should respond to this by having a cigarette, it's already in us, it's already second nature to us to go, do I really want to have a cigarette knowing what the consequences are, or do I want to do something better? You know, if we're ever faced again with a situation where we're tempted to smoke, we are so in the habit of just saying, do I really want to do that? Does that really serve me? You know, and it might be that we still say yes, but I think if we take a moment to think about the consequences of smoking a cigarette, probably going to say no, right? And go and breathe or do something else instead. The second helpful habit is getting active and staying active on a regular basis. In fact, I think if there's only one thing that you do as a result of watching this video, please let it be moving around and moving around regularly. Think of all the things that I've done since I quit smoking. Getting active and picking up my exercise has made, you know, a bigger difference than anything else. And of course there are lots of physical benefits to physical activity. I was reading this morning that if we do a minimum of 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity per week, it can reduce our risk of type 2 diabetes by 50%, reduce our risk of arthritis by 83%, reduce our risk of heart disease and strokes by 35%, reduce our risk of certain types of cancers and even an early death by 30%. So I think that in itself is a big tick in the yes, let's do more exercise column. But there's more to it than that, much, much more. When we're exercising regularly, we're getting that serotonin flowing, getting the dopamine and the endorphins going. Our stress levels naturally start to come down. We feel much calmer, less stressed in our day-to-day life. And again, that's good in its own right, but it also means that, you know, if we're much calmer and less stressed on a day-to-day basis, when something stressful or upsetting or triggering does happen, we can respond to it much better. If we're already overly stressed and overly anxious, just in that kind of state, and then something stressful does happen, which it does from time to time, you know, because life is life, that can be the thing that pushes us over the edge and means that we're no longer able to make helpful decisions, means that we're much more likely to go, sod this, I'm going to smoke, I'm going to drink, I'm going to overeat, I'm going to respond to this situation in a self-sabotaging and unhelpful way, because we're just overly stressed and we can't think straight to make a better decision. Whereas if when we're calmer on a day-to-day basis and something does happen, we're much more able to respond better. We're much more able to take a moment to say, I'm just going to pause and I'm just going to do a bit of mindful decision making and ask myself, is this how I really want to respond to this situation? And this can be so helpful, you know, when it is a year down the line, when it is 2 years down the line since we quit smoking and something does happen that is triggering for us. If we're already naturally calmer, then we're much more likely to be able to respond to that positively rather than grabbing a cigarette. I could talk for ages about exercise and making sure that it's something we enjoy doing. Otherwise, you know, what is the point? Exercise is not a punishment. It isn't something that it's not something that we torture ourselves with. And if it is, then I would suggest finding something that isn't. I used to enjoy riding my mountain bike. I used to talk a lot about that on this channel. And then that bike fell to pieces and I got this other bike that is just crap. And I hate every moment that I'm on this bike. So I don't go on it as much anymore. And I do other things because I'm not going to torture myself and make myself unhappy for the sake of doing physical activity. It kind of defeats the point. I love running. I could talk about running for hours. In fact, I could talk about running a lot longer than I can actually run. And I love it and I enjoy it and it makes me feel good. But I'm not saying everyone should go running, because if you go out running and you don't enjoy anything about it, then maybe it's, you know, something like dancing or walking the dog or, you know, joining a team sport, which can we do in COVID? I'm not even sure. Find something that works and something that is fun. And we're much, much more likely to stick with it. I will tell you the other quick and very interesting thing that's kind of off topic, but here we are. Another really good thing that I've been doing lately is I've been doing a lot of yoga, which started off, I had a running injury and I was using yoga to help me just improve my running and get healthier, but I've since found actually it's really good in its own right and I'm just really enjoying it. So that's by the by, but yeah, helpful activity, helpful habit number 2, please get active. On a related note, habit number 3 is just to be mindful of what we're putting into our bodies in terms of food and drink. To, you know, maybe cut out things that have got loads of sugar in them, or at least dramatically reduce our sugar intake, knowing, you know, not only all the physical damage that sugar can do to us, but, you know, how heavily sugar has been linked to depression. You know, the last thing we want is to, you know, to be struggling with depression and low mood, because that's going to push us, you know, maybe closer to that edge of smoking again. To, you know, maybe drop those sugary drinks and drink more water, knowing that the consequences of drinking water are much better for us than the consequences of a 2-litre thing of Pepsi, for example. I tell people this, they think I'm crazy, but one of my favourite things to do is to eat a bowl of steamed vegetables and a glass of water. And just those two things together, I feel so cleansed. There's just something that feels very clean and very good about that I enjoy doing. Of course, that's not all I eat, but it does have a really nourishing effect on me. That's really important. Again, you know, there are loads of physical health benefits to eating better, to getting more fresh fruit and vegetables, you know, to eating less processed junk food. But there's also a really big impact on our mood and our overall well-being. We have more energy, more vitality, and therefore we enjoy our days a lot more. And when we're enjoying our days a lot more, smoking is likely the furthest thing from our minds. It does have an impact on our mood and our well-being. We feel good, we're able to respond to things better without smoking. Again, I'm not saying that we have to be saints and eat a perfect diet all the time. I enjoyed the heck out of the pizza that I had after I graduated from hypnotherapy. It's somebody's birthday, I am first in line for that piece of cake. But I'm not going to eat the cake and the pizza every day for every meal, because if I did, I would feel awful. And I can tell a difference. I know when I'm eating right and when I'm not, because I physically feel it. It does me so much good, even just to make small changes. And that's, you know, what I think we should be doing with everything, is small changes, little tiny stepping stones. I'm not saying, you know, I've talked about physical activity and eating better. I'm not saying after this video, go and eat all the vegetables and run a marathon. I'm saying, you know, maybe just you don't have fries today and you have vegetables instead, and then you go for a 10-minute walk. It's a good start, right? Just these little tiny improvements can build up to so much good stuff for us. Habit number 4, really the essence of this whole video: pay attention to what works and do more of it. Pay attention to those things that make us feel well, that make us feel calm, and do more of them, even when we're already calm to begin with. I've noticed that, you know, if I am having a bad day, I've noticed that one of the best ways to just make myself feel well again is to go and have a really good shower and just wash away the stench of the day, to get people out of my hair, to get that bad taste out of my mouth that the day has put in. And then to put on my comfy clothes and to find something, you know, a comedy show, a movie, a YouTube video that makes me laugh. And I found just those simple things really make me feel so much better. So I make more time for it, and I do those things regularly. You know, those are the things. For me, for you, it might be gardening, or, you know, sport, or music, or cooking. I'm drawing blanks, but you know what I mean, right? Reading books. Find those things that work and do them regularly. You know, not just as a response to, yes, it's important. I think it's really important to have those emergency things of, oh shit, everything's terrible, okay, I'm going for a shower and I'm going to watch The Office for the 50 millionth time. But even doing that regularly, again, it's keeping my mood up, it's keeping my stress low. It's keeping my sense of well-being in a positive place. It means that I'm enjoying my life more, and again, when I'm enjoying my life more, I'm less tempted to smoke. When stressful things do happen, my stress levels are like down here, and then something stressful happens that puts it there. It means I can still respond pretty well when I'm here. Whereas if I'm already here and something stressful happens and now I'm here, then it's much harder for me to make those helpful decisions. It's much harder for me to respond in a way that isn't self-sabotaging. It's much harder for me to resist that urge to smoke if that urge should come in. So find what works and do more of it. And you know what works for you better than I could ever. I could sit here all day reeling off lists of things that you could do, but you know what works for you to make you feel well. And again, it's that word well. I don't want to say the word good, because I think we can confuse feeling good with, feeling euphoric or ecstatic or orgasmic or just, intense pleasure. And it's not about intense, it's not about short, sharp bursts of intense pleasure. It's about long-term feeling well. And the final thing, the fifth and final habit related to all of that, is to practice asking what's good. We can put this, we can call this a gratitude list, start a gratitude journal, or simply just asking what is good and paying attention to what is good in our lives. I start my day, after I've done a few other things. One of the things I do before I start work or anything like that is I write a list of 5 things that I'm grateful for, or just 5 things that are good. And it could be what I'm having for breakfast, it could be that I slept really well, it could be some amazing, exciting thing, or it could be something really, really small, like I got a cuddle from the family dog and that was really sweet, and it felt really nice. It can be anything. And again, it's this habit of just cultivating an enjoyable smoke-free life. Getting into that mindset of I really enjoy being a non-smoker. Even though we don't even think about it that way. There will come a time when we no longer think of ourselves as non-smokers unless we're already thinking about, the concept of smoking. When I meet people out on the street, I don't say, "Hi, my name's Chris and I'm a non-smoker." It doesn't occur to me until I start talking to you a lot about it. Yeah, I'm a non-smoker. And, and that's the kind of mindset that I want to get in and encourage others to get in as well. Is, yeah, do you know what? I really enjoy this life. I can't imagine there being anyone who has never smoked, who is a non-smoker, going, yeah, do you know what? Life's pretty good, but for no reason whatsoever, I'm going to throw it all away for a cigarette. Even if things get tough, I'm not going to suddenly start smoking because it makes no sense. So practice a little bit of gratitude, a little bit of focusing on what is good, being thankful for it and mindful about it, and it makes such a difference. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this has been helpful, or just giving you something to think about. As I mentioned way at the start of this video, we do have our wonderful community, Finding Freedom, of people who are at the very beginning of their journey but are also years into their journey, all supporting one another to quit smoking and stay quit on a daily basis. That group is facebook.com/groups/findingfreedom1. The link is also in the description below. And of course, it wouldn't be a video if I didn't tell you that I wrote a book. It is called Quit Smoking and Be Happy. It is available in print and ebook form. Again, the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate your support for more videos like this on a weekly basis. Please consider subscribing. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Have a wonderful week. Goodbye.